Hi builders and tradies, Rafael Caso here, Program Manager for Live Well, Build Well. Welcome to this learning module on mental fitness. Mental fitness is about our ability to stay sharp and focused on the job and be in top shape for what life throws at us. Physical fitness is about strengthening the body. Mental fitness is about strengthening the mind. Just like physical fitness, mental fitness is something we can strengthen if we understand the basics and do a few simple things every day. Let's face it, whether you work in a company or are self-employed, the mental demands are increasing. Complexity, regulations, competing priorities, conflicts with clients and suppliers all take a toll on our mental health if we don't do something about it. We'll be showing you some simple things to do that will help you stay on top of stress and get what you want out of your business and life. So let's dive in. First up, I want to introduce you to Dr. Grant Schofield. Grant is our Live Well, Build Well expert on mental and physical fitness. Over to you, Grant.
I'm Grant Schofield. What's my day job? Well, I'm a professor of public health. Well, I've spent most of my life trying to think about what I call the human health span. So we're going to be live, and if we're going to be alive, might as well be having a good time of it. How do we live that best life, that aspiring to some form of excellence in terms of your physical self and your mental self? So physical and mental fitness has really become the thing I'm most interested in. We're not talking about mental illness, we're talking about mental fitness. And these are concrete, doable skills that we can be better off from. So it's really the base of eating, sleeping and moving. Get those right, you're 90% of the way there. And then the thinking strategies that go around being a positive and productive human. So when you encounter ups and downs in life, you're moving through those. And to really start to share those messages, and they don't have to be owned by psychology and psychiatry, and you have to go to a counselling session to work this out. These are available to all of us right here, right now, you, me, everyone else around you.
Our mental fitness learning module is split into 4 sections. Each one will take you 10 to 15 minutes to watch and complete. The 4 sections are mental fitness, communication, especially active listening, flexible thinking, purpose, how to be stronger by working with intention. In this first section, let's look a bit more deeply at how we can become more mentally fit.
Well, the good news in mental fitness is that the base, eating, sleeping, moving, are clearly accessible to all of us, and the major barrier to that is that I haven't got enough time. So my advice, if you want to have a good life, then think about how you might find some time for that, because that's the base. And then the even better news is the psychological skills, which I think have been medicalized and compartmentalized by psychologists, are normal human things that we can all learn. So how do you learn to deal with normal thoughts? How do you learn to stay here, now, present, mindful? How do you not dwell in the past or ruminate in the future? How do you interact and talk with people in constructive ways? How do you talk about your emotions in a reasonable, coherent, adult, understandable way? How do you articulate your goals to other people and make yourself accountable to them? These are mainstream psychology, but they're mainstream humanity. So let's wrestle it back off these guys, these experts, and just use them ourselves, because they're simple and fun and you have a better life. Why wouldn't you? The main benefits of being mentally fit are that you are going to have a better life. I haven't spoken to a person in my entire life that doesn't aspire to have a good life. We aspire, all of us, to be the best version of ourselves. The good news is that's achievable for everyone. The harder part of that is that's going to involve some actual practice and some dedication towards that technique. If you've got a family, you've got friends, then you'll want the same for them. And as a species, if it's not living the best life we can, then what is it? What are we after? I think one of the things that's just not talked about in society is how effective relatively simple mental fitness skills, getting fit, eating better, sleeping better, and then the psychological skills out of that, staying present, learning how to manage your emotions, learning how to talk about them, how powerful those are. You know, think about our best psychological medicines pale into insignificance in their effect compared to the power of these. Just getting outside and exercising for people with depression has a 6-point change in a 40-point scale. Antidepressants might have a 1-point change. Eating better might have a 6-point change. Sleeping better might have a 5 or 6-point change. We're not sure what they do all packaged together. We need to study that better, but it's likely even more powerful than that. So what are you going to do? Take something for it? Or take some action about it? I think a lot of business owners, and I do a lot of work in the trades, and with these younger guys particularly, and I've done this a lot, you go and look at their physical fitness, what they're eating for breakfast, for morning tea, and you sort of shake your head and go, wow, I don't know if I'd be doing that well if I were doing that. Yet we don't talk about it. I think these are reasonable topics to raise in a nice way. So, you know, I want you at your best. Can we learn to talk about protein and sugar, the benefits of proteins, the problems of sugar, you know, the problem of an energy drink, the fact that it pulls your sugar way up and then plummets it down, so at the end of the hour after you've had that drink, you're actually feeling weaker and sleepier than when you started. You know, we're prepared to talk about vaping and gaming and overuse of phones and, you know, these things. Are we happy to start living that talk and bringing it up in the workplaces? Interesting points of conversation. I've worked on sites, and all of a sudden, a few of the young guys are listening to some podcasts. The Huberman Lab's a good one, and all of a sudden, some of these young guys are actually pretty curious about the science of what it takes to live a good life. These are topics that young people are actually interested in the right context, raised the right way. Remember, if you tell them to do something, they most probably won't do it. But if they get interested in it, all of a sudden they'll be coming to work and telling you what you're eating's rubbish. The mind, the body, the brain, in some ways are the same thing. In other ways, they're separate. The way we treat our body and what happens to our body profoundly affects our mind. And some of the ways we think profoundly affects our body. You can do this experiment yourself if you want. You stick a piece of duct tape on your arm and you rip it off. And it causes pain. Instantly what's happening there is there's a stress response. The junctions in your gut open up and they allow inflammatory chemicals to flow through into your body. Now the barrier between your brain and the rest of your body also opens up and those chemicals flow through there as well. So now you've got an inflamed brain. The immune system is highly activated. It's getting ready to solve the problems that pain is going to bring. But it changes fundamentally the state of your brain. Now you're in a fight or flight. Now you've got inflammation. Now you've got the hallmarks of what we would say is poor mental health. And you keep that type of activity going on not just once with duct tape, but for days, for months, for years, you've got a problem. On the flip side of that, you go for a run, treat your body well, dial yourself down. You've had some endorphins from the run. It's produced a whole concoction of chemistry in the brain, that brain-derived neurotrophic growth factor. It's like a miracle grow for the brain. Now the brain is in a state where it's growing, it's planning, it's thinking, it's changing itself. The mind and the body are deeply interconnected and it works every which way. Being mentally fit and physically fit are almost inseparable. If you're in physically poor shape, you're going to struggle to build the robust biology that you need to be mentally fit. If you eat poorly, you're not going to have the building blocks for your brain, mind and body to be the best that it can be. If you're not sleeping well, you're not going to have the ability and time to build these things. So being physically fit and being mentally fit are almost the same thing, with one caveat. Mental fitness also has a set of skills over and above those physical things, the way we learn to think, to manage what we do with our thoughts, how we act them out, how we are able to pause and bring ourselves back to the present rather than worrying about things that have happened in the past that we can't change or things that haven't happened yet. Mental fitness is physical fitness with a bunch of clear skills over and above that.
Here's some builders and tradies talking about their mental fitness.
One that comes to mind is worrying. I used to worry too much about everything I was doing, and that was putting a big strain on my life. What got me out of it was starting the day with training, and so that's what helped me to take those worries away. I'm in the gym most mornings, 5 a.m, up at 4 o'clock. Got an awesome crew, the DBNS boys. We're a group of 8 dads, you know, and we're able to share with each other, train with each other, encourage each other, and that's how we start our days off. That's a really big help.
You're no good to your employer if you're pushing yourself to the limit that you're going to burn out. Sometimes it's okay to put your hand up and say this isn't working for me, or I'm not really coping, and taking a step back and putting your health, mental and physical health, first in order for you to be able to go forward successfully.
In the trade, looking after yourself first so that you can then look after others is really important. Yeah, something I've sort of learnt the hard way and am now trying to reinforce, but it then does make life a bit easier. The main thing I do is to get out in nature. I think that's the most important thing that I do. If I can pair catching up with friends and getting out into nature, whether that be going to the beach or going for a nice walk in nature, I think that really helps.
I try to get to the gym a lot more these days, and just blowing out some good energy there, and feeling, although it's physical, it keeps the brain moving.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you found it useful. For further information, you can go to the Live Well, Build Well website, or reach out to us at the Live Well, Build Well team. We'll see you in the next section.